Oh, I'm coming. If you hand over to government to maintain, the budget the money and share it.
To live in that particular place that the house is. So it's supposed government will even compensate them so that and pay them and relocate them to where they are going and build another house for them.
Careful engineering and management to meet human needs. A wise man once said that a great building must begin with the immeasurable. It must go through measurable means when it is being designed, and in the end must be unmeasured. Welcome to another episode of Property Doctor, the show that brings to property owners and property users the easiest remedies to beautify your homes, maintain your homes, manage your homes, and help you to save money. It is the Builders Week 2021, and so on today's Property Doctors show, we'll be joining builders to celebrate their day. You know, without them, we will not be having any form of structures. And you know, buildings are very important because it's shelter and it covers us. One of the most important things a man needs to survive. So today in the studio, I have professional builders that will give answers to some of our questions concerning buildings and even the builders. I have with me in the studio builder AYO ALAO. He is a professional, he's experienced, and is the former Honorable Secretary for NIOB Abuja chapter. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
We also have with me in the studio builder Gabriel Manngei.
Yeah.
His experience is young, but he's very experienced, and he knows a lot about building also. He'll be telling us a lot of things we need to know and how the young ones can join us into this profession. So let's go into the question. Sir, who is a builder?
A builder is somebody who is trained professionally and academically and has to be morally sound in science, management, and production of buildings.
He said it's going to be sound, morally sound. You know, that answer is deep. You know, you have to be sound in your mind before you can put up a structure. So what are we to expect during this Builders Week, Builder Lawrence?
Okay, thank you very much. During this Builders Week, the main objective is advocacy. There's going to be a lot of publicity and awareness to conscientize people that there are professionals called builders. Because most of the challenges we're having in the building sector today is that ignorance, people not knowing that there are professionals called builders, and then quacks are taking over our jobs, and we have a lot of collapses. So that is one of the things we want to address during this Builders Week. So there's going to be a lot of advocacy calls, there's going to be a lot of courtesy visits to schools, to House of Assembly, and a lot of other institutions, just to make sure that the Nigerians are aware of the professionals called builders.
Builders, okay, thank you very much. So,
in addition, please, what is happening in Abuja today will happen all over the 36 states.
Okay.
We are celebrating the week throughout Nigeria.
Okay. So, why do we celebrate the Builders Week?
Some time ago, there are a lot of building collapses, and we felt we should stop the debt that comes from these collapses and wastages that come into our economy. Loss of property,
money.
Loss of lives, money. So we said, let us celebrate this week. Let Nigerians know that we can prevent building collapse together.
Yeah. So it's a collective effort.
Yes.
So viewers, you can watch one of our past episodes on building collapse in Nigeria. You get more details because we also had professionals in the studio who talked about building collapse. And now you're seeing more professionals because they need to inform people and let them know what we need to do, everybody's role when it comes to construction of buildings. So why must I employ a builder in my construction work?
If you want to build a house and you want it to be efficient, you want it to be effective,
Yeah.
You need somebody who has knowledge of the art of how to put these things together. That's why you must employ a builder.
You said something maybe before the program started. You said something about building production.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is what we call building production management.
Okay.
That means the person who assembles, who looks at all these drawings, assembles them and makes sure that what is on paper becomes a reality. And,
Okay.
A building is meant to be efficient, effective, which means you are supposed to, when you are in your house,
yeah,
you are supposed to use very little energy.
Because the
you,
building was prepared for you to save time or
yes,
money.
To save your money in terms of what you pay for electricity, what you pay for water. Because once the building is properly put in position, when you are in your living room in the afternoon, or you will not feel hot naturally because of the positioning. Then when you go into the bedroom in the evening, you might not need an air conditioner because of the positioning and the materials that the builder has advised the architect to use.
So as you see, it's much more than just builders. When a builder is on site, there are different things he can do for you in the site. He will look at the design of the building. He will look at the architect's design, the electrical and the structural engineer's design, the engineering design, all designs. He will look at them and see how he can bring these designs to reality. Not only that, for you to save time, to save money, and to make you happy and comfortable in your home. Is there any form of certification one can get from the Nigerian Institute of Building?
Yes, there are several certificates, different cadres. As a builder, a graduate builder from the University of Polytechnic, you are supposed to go to the NIOB, who gives you a certificate to show you're a member of the institute. That's one level of certification. You become MNIOB, so you get that certificate.
Okay.
But there's another certificate that speaks to what Oga just mentioned. The builders have been saddled with the responsibility to manage production processes on site. And who are the people who do this actual work? Artisans. So NIOB has been given the awarding body status by the National Board for Technical Education to award the National Skills Qualification Certificate to competent artisans.
Okay.
So that's one of the certificate artisans can get from the Nigerian Institute.
So even artisans and craftsmen can be seen, or you can get certification from NIOB.
Yes.
And they can still be useful in the construction industry.
Absolutely so.
Okay.
Yes.
So viewers, you heard him say Oga. In Nigeria, when we say Oga, that means we are giving respect to somebody who is our senior. So, sir, what are the signs to note that a building is not properly built, or maybe it's about to collapse?
Before a building collapses, it gives you plenty signs. One of it, you could see cracks.
Cracks in the building?
In the building.
Where can you see the cracks? Columns, in the beams, in the wall?
When you see it on the columns and beams, those are really
very dangerous cracks.
You also see them on the floor.
On the floor of the building?
When you see it on the floor, it might mean the building is settling. Then you can also have what we call differential settlements. The building is tilting or shifting.
Yeah.
But all these things, if you detect early, you can correct them. You can stop a building from collapsing if you detect early.
Okay.
But the major problem, why we normally have sudden collapses, is the material, especially the steel. The steel is not, that is supposed to be used for a building, is not supposed to be brittle. Once it's brittle, it snaps. But if it's ductile, it gives you the chance to save that building from collapsing.
Okay. He's talking about the reinforcements being brittle. That means it can break.
It snaps.
It's not ductile. When he says it's ductile, it means you can manage it, you can bend it, that's technical terms. That's why you need a professional. So get a builder to build your homes. They can check some of these things for you and even conduct some of those tests. They can take the materials out for tests to be done. You can watch our videos on cracks in our buildings. We talked about it at length, and you're seeing a professional talking about it here in the studio to give you more tips about how you can check your house. He said you can check the building from being collapsing so that you're not even trapped in it. If you see signs like cracks in the columns, in the beams, on the slabs, then you know you need to run for your life. Now let's go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue in our discussion. But before we go, Property Doctor has some products that will be very helpful to your staying healthy. We have the PD soap, the PD hand wash, the PD air freshener, the PD paints, the PD bleach, and the PD tile care and glass care. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I'm coming. If you hand over to government to maintain, the budget the money and share it.
To live in that particular place that the house is. So it's supposed government will be compensate them so that and pay them and relocate them to where they are going and build another house for them.
Careful engineering and management to meet human needs. Welcome back. If you're just joining us for the first time, you're watching Property Doctor, and on this episode, we are still on the Builders Week 2021, and I have professionals with me in the studio. We were talking about establishing who a builder is and the signs to know if your building is strong or is safe and is something that you should not worry about. So Builder Alao was talking to us about things you should look at. So sir, can you tell us more about those things we should note so that to prevent our building from collapsing?
I will also recommend that you carry out what we call a Smith-Hammer test.
A Smith-Hammer test. Who does that?
It could be done by professional engineers.
Okay. Structural engineers, yeah.
It is a non-destructive test. It will not destroy any, it will not affect your building, and it will give you the health status of a building. If I may digress, a building is like a human being. It has a body, it has the services running through it that is like our veins, and it has nerves. So once any of it is affected, it becomes dangerous.
Wow.
But once you conduct the Smith-Hammer test, it will come out with the health status of that building, and it will also be able to tell you what needs to be done to save that building or to make corrections.
Okay. So if you do the Smith-Hammer test, is to check the structural integrity of that particular building.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So how can we know a professional builder?
A professional builder is one who has first been trained through the University or Polytechnic, has sufficient experience, and then has
what is sufficient experience?
Site experience.
How many years? Or months? Or weeks?
No, it depends on how many years outside of school, between 4 and 5 years outside of school.
Okay.
So you should have practiced on site under a professional builder as a pupil builder, and then you get
mentored
through that period, and then NIOB gives you the MNIOB status certificate, and then COBON, Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria, gives you a license. Until you have that license, you are not yet a professional builder. So a professional builder is anyone who has the license from the Council of Registered Builders to practice as a builder in Nigeria.
Wow. Okay. Can women be builders?
Absolutely so. That's part of the advocacy during this Builders Week. The building construction is seen to be male-dominated construction space, but we are having a lot of women coming to building construction, even at the level of artisans.
At the level of artisans?
We had a program, Construction Artisans Awards,
okay,
where the best artisans were celebrated. And guess what? The best painter was a woman, a
Really?
female from Enugu State.
Wow.
Bob Manuel Emmanuel. So there are a lot of women that are coming into this space, electricians at the university levels, women going into this course called building. So it's very possible to have women here.
Yes, remember we had somebody in the studio who told us that there was even a female plumber. So you see, women can do most of these things that we feel only men can do in the construction industries. So what is the new technology about construction? You know, technology is evolving. Like we have smart homes, we have different technology. 5G is coming up, although we don't really have it here in Nigeria. But in what way has construction or buildings evolved over the period of time?
There has been a lot of advancement technologically, like you mentioned smart homes. I'm happy to tell you that in Abuja, we currently have smart homes.
Smart homes.
So technology is actually coming into Nigeria. Yeah, 5G is not yet here, but we also have what we call the BIM, Building Information.
What is BIM?
Building Information Modeling.
Okay.
So it's a kind of technology that allow professionals interact on a project. So on the same project, you don't even need to be physically on site. You are monitoring what the builder is doing. You are monitoring what the architect has imputed into this design, all the structural designs, mechanical designs, electrical designs. So it's a kind of technology that allows for seamless production of a building, thereby ensuring that all professionals are doing what they're expected to do. So that's some kind of technology that is coming in. We also have drones in construction now. So drones do most of the work, forklifts,
rendering.
Exactly. Drones that do rendering, you know, machines that do rendering, so you don't have to be plastering by yourself as a mason.
Okay.
So there are lots of technology that are coming up.
Okay. Yeah. So, sir, is there anything else to add to
in addition to what you have said, I will also suggest and say that everybody who is involved in construction should keep updating himself, or else you will find out in 5 years, you are not relevant.
Obsolete.
You are not relevant and you have nothing to do, which means you will become hungry.
Oh, okay. So, thank you for being with us today in the studio. Sir, do you have any last word for our viewers?
Yes, what I want to say is, if you want to build right, engage a professional builder, because he will help you save a lot of money, time, and the hassles that you go through in court cases.
Wow. Even in court cases?
Yes, because when a builder misbehaves, we have Council of Registered Builders that comes in as alternative conflict resolution, and they punish the builder and assist you, make sure that you don't get any losses.
Okay. So, one last word from you, Builder Lawrence.
Yeah, my last word would be for us to know that it's more expensive to do a bad job.
Wow.
It's very expensive to do a bad job. So to avoid that, engage the right people to do your job. Engage a builder to build your home. Yeah.
So thank you for being with us today, and thank you for educating us on this 2021 Builders Week celebration. I really appreciate the knowledge you have shared with us today. To our viewers, thank you for joining us on this episode of Property Doctor. I know you have learned one thing or two or even more, and you can also watch our smart home episode. You can watch all other episodes, the 5G episode, to tell you more about what they are talking about. Remember, if knowledge is not put into practice, it does not benefit anyone. Join me next week as I'll be having a practical episode. Remember, last week I taught you about soap making. So by next week, we'll be taking you on bleach making. There are so many products we have and want to inform you about how to do those things yourself to help you save money. Make sure you inform 1 or 2 people about it. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, you can do so. Please do so on the link below. And don't forget to turn on your notification button to get alerts of our videos. Also follow us on Facebook at Property Doctor NG, on Instagram at Property Doctor NG, and on Twitter at Property Doc NG. Make sure you join us next week, Tuesday, and have a beautiful week ahead. God bless you and bye.